which made 12-year-old Drew have some tingly feelings that were unknown to him at the time. Take that, working women.
Dueling decades. All right, Man Crush. That means you win this game, but we're going to play on and head over to the final movies round.
Dave just doesn't want me to argue with him for like 25 minutes in the last
Go for
it. All right, so let's go June 19th of 1981. It was actually a big day for movies. This movie, another movie, I grew up watching this one. It's probably my favorite Burt Reynolds movie of all time. And I'm not just saying that like Drew Zachman says that about a lot of his picks. I actually really love this Burt Reynolds movie. I rewatched this last night, probably for the first time in decades, and it still holds up. Matter of fact, knowing the backstory to this movie made it a little bit more entertaining as an adult. I'll get into that in a little bit. But that said, there are some old school like dialogue things in this movie that would never fly today. Never, ever. Including, which is actually weird because Sammy Davis Jr. is in this movie, and Mark brings up Sammy Davis Jr. So we're bringing him up twice within consecutive rounds, and he's probably never been brought up in the 2.5 years of being on the show.
No, matter of fact, that's why I picked that song, because we've never brought up Sammy Davis Jr. on the show.
That's wild that he's also in this. But you know what? Like, even with the cringy parts, the movie itself, a really fun watch. Like, getting back to what I mentioned earlier, this is also loosely based on a true story, because this event actually took place several times throughout the 70s. And like, therefore, it just made it a bit more fun to think about the reality of this actually occurring and what it could have looked like. But domestically, this movie, it did pretty well at the box office, taking in roughly $72 million, which is around $217 million in 2021 for you guys. And they probably did more, the same or more overseas, because they absolutely love them some Burt Reynolds over there. But unfortunately, the international figures were all over the place. But this was the 7th highest grossing film of 1981. So it had that going for it. This film, it actually wasn't going to star Burt Reynolds because it wasn't even initially going to be a comedy. The writer of this film was Brock Yates, and originally he had this whole thing slated to be an action movie with Steve McQueen in the main role. However, if you know anything about Steve McQueen, towards the late 70s, he was very sick. He had cancer, it spread, and he ends up dying in 1980. And I won't get too much into that, but that's a nutty story too. He had like a fucking 10-pound tumor in his stomach or something, and the doctors told him that his heart would expire if he had surgery on it. So he went to like Mexico to get the surgery and then dies of heart failure in Mexico or something like that. It's crazy ass story. So anyhow, so they redid this whole script for Burt Reynolds and they made it a comedy. And I suppose that they wanted to make this one an action movie originally because there was just about an identical movie that came out in 1976 called The Gumball Rally. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one, but it's basically the same movie, same premise, everything based on that race. The funny part is, I personally love this movie, but Burt Reynolds hated this movie. And this is a kicker because he claimed that he did this out of a favor to his friend Hal Needham, who's the director. Same director as the guy that did Smokey and the Bandit 1 and 2 and Hooper with Burt Reynolds. But as far as favors go, how is it really a favor when you become the highest paid actor at the time, getting $5 million to play the role? That's like if we were supposed to have a judge come on and I contacted Dave, like, this guy bailed out. Can you come on the show? And he'd be like, yeah, I'll do you a favor. I'll come on. Pay me $5,000. That's like the same thing as this, but they paid it. They paid it to him. And, but he hated it afterwards, which I don't understand. But we also get Jackie Chan in this one. It's not his very first U.S. role because he was in The Big Brawl in 1980. Right. But that doesn't really, I don't really count that because it's a joint with a Hong Kong production company. Wasn't that big of a movie, but he appears in this one. And it spurns out two different sequels. You had one that came out like 2 years later, a year later. Then you had one in the late 80s. It was total trash. So if you're in the mood for like all-star ensemble cast, fast cars, whacked out doctors, friendly kidnappings, Captain Chaos, Chinese Jackie Chan playing Japanese Jackie Chan, shiny bodysuits with nothing underneath, the Rat Pack, flashing priests, casual drinking and driving, which happens through the whole movie, Jimmy the Greek, fist fights, surprise endings, Roger Moore playing himself and breaking the law, then go out and rent yourself a copy of The Cannonball Run.
Nice. All right, Drew Zachman, what did you bring for the movies round?
All right. So I have a question. Who is the best Batman? Is it Christian Bale? Probably Ben Affleck, a lot of people might say.
Michael Keaton.
Keaton, yeah.
See, there we go. Now, personally, I've also been always partial to Mr. Michael Keaton. And on June 19th, we got to see the follow-up to the monster hit Batman with Batman Returns. Now, this one had Keaton reprising his role as Bruce Wayne and featuring Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, which made 12-year-old Drew have some tingly feelings that were unknown to him at the time. This movie also had Danny DeVito as the iconic Penguin, also had Christopher Walken, and one of my favorite character actors, Vincent Schiavelli. Also, a little trivia. Annette Bening was originally cast as Catwoman, but she became pregnant and was replaced with Pfeiffer. So take that, working women. Anyway, this movie had a budget of $80 million and pulled in a box office of $266 million, or in 2021 man crush dollars. What do you think? What do you think, Nick?
What was it?
266. What do you think, man crush?
In 1992, probably about 480.
Not bad. $510 million in 2021. And man crush, your movie, how high did that rank for the year? Was that
It was
seventh?
seventh, yeah.
Because Batman Returns was the sixth highest grossing movie of 1992. Just want to throw that out there. The film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, Best Visual Effects and Best Makeup. And Michelle Pfeiffer was nominated for an MTV Movie Award for Most Desirable Female, losing to Sharon Stone for her role in Basic Instinct, which I totally support that decision. So I give you Batman Returns, June 19th, 1992.
Landing strip.
Speaking of, where to begin with this one, guys? All right, so this movie was made for just $22,500. And Drew, yes, that's $145,000 today.
Hey, thanks.
It had its world premiere at the World Theater in New York City. And it's a film that not only would have success and sequels, but would push the boundaries of an entire industry, all while moving said industry into the mainstream. It's a groundbreaking film that would have a major impact on changing social norms for generations to come. It would also become a pop culture phenomenon, with its namesake becoming a widely used everyday term, and even famously as an informant code name. Open wide, I give you the world premiere of Deep Throat, June 12th, 1972. A woman with an unusual birth defect comes to a doctor who has an unorthodox solution to make the best of her situation. There's a whole lot to unpack with this movie. The movie was the subject of a 2005 documentary called Inside Deep Throat, and a 2013 movie starring the enchanting Amanda Seyfried as Lovelace. And now both of these projects explore the dark truths about the movie. When the film was released theatrically in the U.S., many companies were investigated by law enforcement agents, including the FBI, and a number of them were convicted for distributing obscenity. Star Linda Lovelace herself later revealed in her autobiography that Chuck Trainer, her then husband, coerced her into participating in the film and was controlling and abusive on set. In a March 1973 column, critic Roger Ebert wrote, "It is still all very well for good Linda Lovelace, the star of the movie, to advocate sexual freedom, but the energy she brings to her role is less awesome than discouraging." It's one of the most infamous films of all time. It's Deep Throat, June 12th, 1972. In case you're wondering, in 2006, it was revealed that FBI Special Agent Mark Felt was the Deep Throat informant, tying it all back together with Watergate.
Have you ever seen the sequel to that movie?
No.
It's like it's not. I don't even think it's a porn. I think it's like rated R.
Yeah, you can watch Deep Throat. It is available on a lot of let's just say streaming streaming sites.
Did you do research and watch this one?
I did, and it is, yeah, wow, lots of hair, lots and lots of hair. It's I mean, it's a groundbreaking film, but by no stretch of the imagination is it a good film. The acting is horrible. The plot is horrible.
It's a porn.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it was the first porn to ever really include plot, story, character development. So, I mean, it was groundbreaking in that fashion, but.
Too much Bush for Mark.
Yep.
Too much Bush. Bush, we've got Bush. Mark's like, no. Shave that. Get it out of my face.
All right. Well, let's hear what Dave Schultz has to say on the movies round.
Okay, well, it's kind of a shame we did music prior to this round because I had to go with personal taste and it ended up giving Man Crush the win. Had we done movies first, so I guess, selection and timing is everything, Cannonball Run would not have won this round. I hate this movie. I really do. I hate Cannonball Run, and that's going to be an unpopular opinion. As a kid, I loved it. Upon rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, this is just a complete star fuck. These guys, like you said, the celebrity cast, it's like more about them than it is about the actual movie itself. I really did not enjoy rewatching it. One iota. I actually had to turn it off. I think like 25 minutes into the movie, I'm like, how did I even like this as a kid?
That's why I mentioned that before. If you know about it, it was actually called the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Memorial Trophy Dash. And it was a real deal thing. So like kind of knowing that and the camaraderie that they had doing that makes a lot of sense with the movie. Cause that's actually what they did was they drove across. And I think the guy that won in 1979 was driving like a Jaguar, and forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it's an XJS or something like that. And he did it in like 32 hours and something and only got like one ticket going across the United States. And there were like different rules and penalties for doing different things. So it's kind of cool and it kind of ties to the movie a little bit more if you know that. But I get it. And it's 1981. So it's not like anything that we're used to now. And if you listen, the script is not the greatest script. No. And you could definitely tell that it was reworked.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still better than the script to Deep Throat.
Oh, but yeah. I don't know how much, but it's still fun. I thought it was a fun watch. Dom DeLuise was always.
I was going to say they should have called the movie "Let's Treat Dom DeLuise Like Shit." That's what they should. every movie he's in with Burt Reynolds, he just gets treated like a utter log of crap.
Which is great. Spoiler, to turn it off if you've never seen the movie and you want to. No. They're going to win. Captain Chaos is running to the time clock, and some lady's like, "My baby," and he like has to run and get this dog from the water. Ends up losing the Cannonball Run in the process to Adrienne Barbeau and the other, I don't even know who the other girl is in the shiny suit in the Ferrari. And Bert comes up to him and is just scolding him and then rips the freaking mask off. And he's like, no, Captain Chaos is over. And I still remember that part from when I watched it as a kid. And it was super nostalgic watching it because then I remembered him donning the Captain USA cap. Yeah. And he was like, that's okay because I'm Captain USA. And like, as a kid, totally awesome. As an adult, you're like,
Yeah, I always preferred the animated version by Hanna-Barbera a little bit more.
I don't know if I ever saw that.
I haven't seen it either. I think the actual record is like 25 hours or something like that to go from New York to California, which is insane. I think
there was one that was in the middle years or somewhere because I think there was 5 or 6 of them that ran, and the top speed was like an average of 87 miles an hour across the country, which is pretty insane when you think about it.
Yeah, like going through like slower roads or whatever, slower areas. I remember reading about it. I think it was like some kind of like Mercedes, and I think they had like an extra. There was like 2 or 3 people doing it, so that way they can just keep rotating drivers. And yeah, and I think they had like people kind of looking out for them too, like, hey, there's no cops around this area or whatever. So it's kind of like a team effort, but still, that's insane. 25 hours, that's nuts.
But I respect your decision.
Okay, great. Obviously, Cannonball Run with the Amish, bunch of horse and buggies traveling across the country.
Took 36 weeks.
Exactly. Drew, in 1992, Batman Returns. Batmania was still living large since '89. Batman Returns. Here's another one, right? I mean, when I was a kid, I loved that movie. I loved anything Batman, to be honest with you. But again, upon rewatch, all these years later, it's not that great of a film. It's actually pretty crappy. I don't know what you guys think about it. It's very colorful. It's very campy.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, so kind of for me, it actually reminds me more of like the 60s TV show in many ways. Of course, it didn't have like the punching sound effects, what have you. But I mean, it was a pretty cheesy ass movie. But it was huge. It was massive, and it was a fond memory for me. I mean, really, Batman. You could go to McDonald's and get your Batman Happy Meal. You turn around, you got Batman shirts everywhere, and as a comic book fan, it was a great time to be alive. So Batman Returns is a big one, and so you would have been in the running for this round at least. I don't think you've won any round, have you, Drew?
Not at all.
You came so fucking close.
I usually
so
don't.
Close, man.
I usually don't win any rounds on any episode.
Oh, stop it.
You were right there too with that Batman Returns. Oh, I know. You can go to sleep and feel like shit tonight. So sorry.
That's all right.
Cradle your copy of Addams Family.
I will.
He doesn't have one.
I have. I bought like 30 of them just so I can be like, guess what, motherfuckers?
You stockpile if the apocalypse never happens. Yeah.
Now I have the wall.
1972, Deep Throat. First off, I say documentary. Now, Mark, you say it differently. Can you say it for me?
Documentary.
You said this before on the show, and I've never corrected you, or I don't even know if I should correct you. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I don't know. Really? It's like calling Target Target. It's one of those deals. Yeah.
Did you add a syllable to that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow. That's tough.
You consciously did this on purpose?
No, I didn't do it on purpose.
No.
I just did it.
I think I do it both ways sometimes. I think sometimes I
Really?
do say, depends on how I'm feeling.
Well,
Documentary.
this opens up a great debate. How do people out there say it? We got to know. Comment on the video below. Get on your Facebook, all that good stuff.
I think
Let
it's
dueling
correct
decades
as documentary, not documentary, as I said.
It's okay. I can't fucking speak half the time myself. So who am I to judge? Oops, I am a judge. But dude, this whole thing with Linda Lovelace and a porno, getting national recognition.
Yeah.
It was just a massive, massive thing. Was it Batman Returns massive? No, not at all. Some of the members, I'm sure, were pretty big in the film. I haven't seen it. But I did see the documentary. Actually, it's not really a documentary. It's like one of those, what do you call it, biopics about Linda Lovelace. The one you're talking about with Siegfried there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Siegfried and
That's
Roy.
interesting.
That was a good one. I like the
interesting.
Tigers.
You saw it's that's a different one.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh crap. Oh man. That was really good though. No, but I mean seriously, it was like she went through a lot of shit, man. She was again like Dom DeLuise. She was treated like him. And that's bad.
Yeah.
It's yucky. It's icky. It's gross. But still, just the fact that your nana knew what the hell Deep Throat was is a pretty big deal. And so again, we're still talking about it, and you can say that. You can say Deep Throat in 2021, and people associate it, with either a spy or the film. So not the spy, but the I'm trying to say
The informant.
informant. Thank you. All is forgiven, documentary guy. But you would have won the round, Mark. I would have given the round to you. So it would have been a far more interesting game had we selected movies first. And that's that.
All right, well, Man Crush wins this one. But maybe things will be different again next week. Who knows?
What did you bring for your wild card?
For my wild card?
You don't have to
Oh,
go deep into it. Just what you bring?
well, my wild card was a hot product that I actually found in the Baltimore Sun, and this was a new product that was being invented, and it's okay. It's
Just
not
spit
the
it
best.
out. What is it?
It's Galvalume. It is a it's the stuff that they make metal roofs out of. They started manufacturing it in the steel mills and started shipping it out worldwide. So I have the invention of basically what metal roofs are made out of. That's what I had. That's barn burner
wow.
right there. Yeah.
Good thing I fucking cut you off to make you stop that one. What about you, Drew?
Oh, I had complete horseshit. I had it was the only thing I could even find that was remotely
Asphalt roofs.
similar. I have an album from Lindsey Buckingham, a solo album called Out of the Cradle. I'm not a big Fleetwood Mac fan. I'm like, whatever. So I think I could find that was like moderately, because like movie wise, there was shit, and this was just
Still beats roofing.
barely.
Unfortunately, we're out of time and just won't get a chance to get to Lindsey Buckingham.
I was gonna. I had.
What was
Superman-
yours?
I had Superman 2.
Ooh.
Wow. Show up.
Oh.
Well, I just like I picked Superman not that long ago, so I didn't feel right,
Right.
picking it again.
You always
Even though
talk
it's a
about
sequel.
Superman.
So
You know,
it's
who was,
funny?
you know who was a Superman? Nelson
Who?
Mandela.
Here's a little
you
shout
go.
out to listener Eric Luley, who sent me a message today and says that let me read the exact message he sent.
Could Mark please discuss roofing materials on the next episode? That'd be
He
great.
said, I know it was a canon episode, but damn, you really love Over the Top. I feel like you've brought it up on at least a third of all episodes. So with that, I need to bring it up again. And thank you, Eric Luley, for sending me that message.
Yeah, but Over the Top is fantastic.
It is. That's what I said. I said, well deserved. Fuck.
You know, you were proud of yourself with the Sammy Davis Jr. thing, but we also talked about Burt Reynolds, and before that, Lonnie Anderson
Yeah.
got mentioned.
Right.
So
Look at that.
here we go, baby. Breaking all
It's
the
all
rules tonight.
tie-ins. And
Mhm.
Dave had no idea what we were bringing, and he mentioned Lonnie Anderson.
Can't
That's
help myself.
that's where you bring your dad for Father's Day. Everybody out there, hope you had a great Father's Day, because now it's over by the time you heard this. But let's make believe.
But you can't bring your dad Lonnie Anderson anymore. Maybe her hairpiece.
Yeah,
Hey, look at this,
well,
Lonnie Anderson's
She might
big
still
hair.
look
It's a
pretty
helmet.
good. She might look good.
I thought she was dead. That's why I just said that. She's alive?
No, I think she's still alive.
I think she is.
Wow.
All right. Well, Man Crush wins this one. I want to thank Dave Schultz for coming in once again and being an excellent judge. Hey, Dave, why don't you tell us all what's happening on the Selling Out show and with Schultz Soaps?
Ah, there you go. Look at that. Last time I was on, I was promoting a podcast and soap, and here I am again doing the same freaking thing. But the problem is when I was promoting my stuff, Dueling Decades spelled my name wrong on the bottom of the screen. And this is like a lifelong problem for me. People can't pronounce it or can't spell my name. So let me do that right now real quick. It's SCHULTZ. So if you look up at Schultz Soap on Instagram, you will see my amazing creations because I am a true artisan. Okay. What I do with my hands is an amazing process that just may blow your mind. And then as far as my podcast, it's fucking great. I'm on it. It can't be beat with a freaking stick. So make sure you follow at Selling Out Show on all your favorite social media outlets, whatever
You
they
want
may
to spell
be.
that?
No, I shouldn't have to. But I could if you really wanted me to.
Was it with a Z? Zelling out?
What you no.
It's like using that Cash App thing. No.
At Selling Out Show. If you can't spell that, I can't help you. But you know what? You're probably in line to be the next vice president of the United States of America.
What was your soap thing again? What was that one?
At
On Instagram?
Schultz. At Schultz Soap. That's SCHULTZ. See, a lot of people. I got a bone to pick with the human race.
There you
People think I'm related to the guy who created Peanuts, Charles Schulz, but his name is spelled different.
Right.
So like even growing up, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, look at you, man. You must be rich, right? Because your grandfather invented Snoopy." I'm like, it's spelled different. And if I didn't get that, I get the whole like my teachers would be, I see nothing. Huh? Yeah, you seen Hogan
Oh,
Heroes and
jeez.
Schultz, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm like fucking 6 years old. I ain't watching Hogan's Heroes. What the fuck's the matter with you?
You know what you're talking about, crazy lady.
I wanted to change my name back then to like Dave Diamond or something, or David Danger, you know,
There you go.
a little alliteration there. But I stuck with
Never too
Schultz, so
late.
here I am. And now I'm old and I make soap.
I like
and I
that.
make cool podcasts.
David Diamond Schultz, your DDS.
There you go.
Fucking
I dig
knock your
it.
teeth out, motherfucker. That's what
Yeah,
I
there you go.
And Drew Zachman, why don't you tell everybody what's happening on Songs Gone Wrong?
Yeah, so we just had Kevin Martin from Candlebox on. We're getting some more interviews, and we have Dave Scottney from Janus. It's kind of like a alt rock band from like the last like 10 years. I'm a big fan of their stuff, so we have him. We're actually interviewing him tomorrow, so the episode will probably be posted probably by the time this episode airs. So we'll have Janus on there.
Awesome. But if you've missed an episode, don't worry, duelers. You can always head over to duelingdecades.com where you can subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. And head over to our Facebook page. Let us know what you thought about this episode. You can find all of the links for our Facebook, our YouTube, and all of our social medias right down in the episode notes. If you're watching along on Facebook, why don't you drop a comment on the video? Let us know who you think won this game. So until next time, duelers, we're going to bid you a peace, love, light, and a joy. Have a grateful week, everyone.
Lonnie Anderson, 75.